What's it been like for yoga helping or facilitating that sense of awareness? How do I feel? Or how do I know when I feel safe versus not? Or how do I know when I'm doing something that's helpful versus hurtful?
The teacher is putting you in a position, in an asana, a situation that's bringing up feelings. Maybe I'm tired, maybe I'm shaking, maybe I'm frustrated. So that's the lesson right there.
Hi, Marta.
Hi, Kate.
Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And so, I'd really love to explore today just really your yoga practice and what got you into yoga and how you were introduced to it and just really the impact it's making in your life today, and then maybe how other people can learn from it and grow from it and maybe use it in their own life. So
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, so first of all, like, where'd you grow up? And
So I'm from Barcelona in Spain, and I grew up and lived my whole life there forever. Yeah. Then I spent 1 year in Mexico, and now I'm here in San Diego.
yeah.
Yeah. So you want me to talk about how I grew up?
Yeah, what were your hobbies as a kid, and like what'd you grow up getting introduced to? And
So my upbringing was very much one of survival, where there wasn't a lot of space for fun and exploring. There was a lot of scarcity, and just making it till the end of the month, and kind of became an adult really fast because of that. I was into, like, as a kid, I was into swimming a lot. I tried ballet for a little bit. And then around the age of 13 was, when I started just helping my mom at the house, essentially. So I think that has a lot to do with why I practice yoga and why I went into like the yoga path, because I just lived in that survival state of, okay, gotta learn how to do these things and how to help out my mom out, because my mom was alone and working many hours. So I was taking care of my sister, and then my grandparents were sick, and my mom had to, be everywhere and couldn't really be there to give us things like, okay, let's go on a vacation. Let's, find what are the things that you like. So I spent a lot of time just alone at home and taking care of my sister and of just being. I developed a huge interest in movies. It was like going to this other world, right? So I ended up going to university to study cinema, like eventually. That's what I did. But on the way, I was telling you earlier, it's hard to remember how I got introduced to yoga, but I know my practice started online on YouTube. I think just Googling around the age of 16, 17, and putting videos and just finding that, in this chaos, in this scarcity, in this fear of being able to just make it to the end of the month and find a place of finding that peace was already there through the practice.
Yeah.
So the first time I practiced, I was just like, I don't remember exactly, but I remember the feeling. I don't remember the time, but I remember what got me addicted was that, I'm safe, I'm peaceful, I'm here. And I also suffered a lot from disassociation. So the practice put me in my body. And it was a place where I could be there, like I could be here now and not be scared. I could be safe through the practice. So I don't know if that answers the question, but that's how it happened.
Yeah. So just really growing up as a kid is a lot of just being an adult at a young age.
Yes,
taking
definitely.
care of the family.
Yeah.
And then like disassociation, so like movies are great for that, to be like get lost in some fantasy.
Yeah.
And then just finding yoga online on
Yeah,
YouTube.
so there was, I think, it wasn't like a way to escape necessarily the movies, but a little bit. Like, it was like, this is too much, I can go there. And I can be there and get lost there, and it's wonderful, because now you can be a superhero, you can be a middle-aged woman in Tuscany. Like, I don't know, whatever's going on in the movie, I could get lost in it and just escape into that, or be in that place. And then it became fun, like just, I can be in Clockwork Orange in the morning, and then in War in the evening, and in different places. So, and also not having the resources to go out in the world and do many things. It was a way to experience things like different countries or whatever, anything. It's everything is there.
Yeah.
So got really, really addicted to movies And my grandfather worked at cinema, so I think that inspired it a lot.
Oh.
My grandfather was someone I really looked up to growing up, and that was a place of love and of peace, where everything else was not that. So I think I was very attracted through my grandpa, and then, yeah, it was a big passion for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice to have that inspiration, like a grandparent to
Yeah.
show us a hobby or something fun or...
Yeah, I think that was the only place where I could find that. And my father had hobbies, and like he played tennis, but everything was like putting you down and competition, and he was, so it wasn't inviting. It wasn't like, well, I want to do that. My sister, however, she was like, oh, I went into wanting to prove to him, you know, so she got into like the competing mindset, and but I was just, that's so aggressive. It doesn't feel good, because it doesn't feel like inspiring. However, my grandpa was like, come to the movies and sit with me here while we watch these movies. But that was when I was very young, like it was maybe 5, 4, 6, and then he passed. So that loss, I think, had a lot to do with then being like holding on to him by watching movies, by getting into that, and then bringing him back through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was still like a way of being outside of the body. And then it's when I started practicing yoga that I was like, whoa, it's overwhelming being in the body, being here now all the time. So, fortunately, I think it was extremely gradual, and it came, I do believe the practice comes to you when it's the time, and in the ways that it's the time, and you gotta let it do its thing a little bit. And I was just putting a video now, and like maybe an easy intro, whatever. So it was gentle. It wasn't like, now you're, you know, going to do this and you're going to be the best. There's no competition, so you can't be the best,
Yeah.
which is great. So it was a gentle way of putting me in my body. And then it was also followed with therapy and with support from the outside. And then when it stopped being so overwhelming, I started just practicing more and more, and then I started doing Ashtanga. Because I was like, no, I need to be in this body all the time and doing this all the time. And now it's found a beautiful balance, yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like, that shift from doing online yoga to then finding a studio where you
Yeah,
where
well,
you
that's
were
that's a long story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Do you want the long story?
Yeah.
Cool. Because I grew up in this fear environment, or just a lot of everything that could go wrong was going wrong, everything. When you thought it was going to be okay, something else was happening, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I developed a big fear of everything. I was just in a constant state of fear, of alertness, of something's going to happen, something bad's going to happen, to the point where I couldn't really go like in the subway or go to the mall or the grocery store, because I was like just going into panic and like dropping down on the floor and having a panic attack, because I was so scared. There was like, of course, things that happened. I suffered some sexual trauma when I was 13, so things like that support that reaction, right? And they weren't treated, they weren't seen, everything happened like, so I just lived like something's going to happen. So practicing online was very helpful for me. I didn't feel like I could go into a studio or into a space with other people and feel safe. I just didn't feel safe. And so slowly I just continued to practice on my own, and the idea of going to a studio was extremely overwhelming. In university, in class, I was always like sitting in the back, always alone, doing my thing, barely like made it through college. I was in a hospital for a while too, in a mental institution for 6 months. I had an eating disorder. It was all of it, all of the things that could, it felt like everything that could happen and go wrong happened and went wrong. And it's okay, you know. So through therapy, first, you know, medication, this and that, and then through therapy, just being there, slowly finding people. I got really into music, and then in the music community I found lots of friends, and then I had a partner who was extremely supportive, who I'm still with. And this is when I'm 24. I just turned 25 because he came to Spain. He's from here, from San Diego. He came to Spain when I would turn 25, and he said, you should go to a yoga class. So I had been practicing like 9 years almost. Wait, no, not 9 years. Let me see. I started when I was 16. Well, 9 years. Oh wow, yeah, 9 years. Okay, I can say that again. I had been practicing for 9 years without ever going to a class.
Wow.
See, I found this like Ashtanga class, and I just did Ashtanga for 2 years, and then I was there's just online, everything online, and I'm so grateful for it. But it was a long time of practicing at home. And he said, I'll walk with you there, and it was any new environment was very, very overwhelming for me. And I think the spiritual space, and we don't need to get into that, but there was a fear in me, like I don't want to be touched by anybody. No one can touch me. If some teacher comes, and I can't do it. So we found a place that felt good. It was a female teacher, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go, I'm going to do it. And he just waited, outside, and I did the class. And at the end, I was just like silently, but when the tears just fall and fall and fall, and was like, I did it. The practice again has provided me of a space and of a place where I can prove to myself that I can do anything. I can do this, and continue to peel these layers, these protections, these shields that life makes us or invites us to put in front of us so that we can protect ourselves. And after that, I thought it was gonna be like, now I'm gonna go every class, and it wasn't like that. The next time it felt the same again. It felt terrifying. And the next one, and the next one, and just slowly, very slowly, I put, I don't know, one step, like one foot in front of the other. It's also a very vulnerable place, I think, because the practice was so personal to myself, and it meant so much to me. I didn't want anything to ruin it. Like, it couldn't turn into an unsafe place. I think that's why I was so reluctant to be like, okay, now I'm just going to go to class, because I felt one bad experience will ruin it for me. And I can't let that happen. I felt very protective of that thing that yoga did to me or gave me. And then I started teaching online. So I was providing to others what I had been provided online. And I did my first teacher training online. Like, everything was from the safety of my house, where I knew that nothing, could touch me, or I could just close the computer if it was very much trying to protect it. So it's a bit, I understand it's a lot, but I'm trying to put it into a cohesive story. When I went to Mexico, I thought, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to go to studios. And still, like, I don't know, it was hard. It was really hard, because it seems like such an easy thing to go out and do things. And in other parts of my life, I noticed I've done that a lot. Like I was telling you earlier, I was a music photographer for a while, and I was going to festivals, and it was like, just for some reason, the practice was, I was attached to what I had built for myself, this little thing, the little private thing. But at the same time, I was eager to share it with others and have others receive the healing that I had received through the practice. So it wasn't in Mexico that happened. I continued to practice online. I found a teacher I really, really loved online, and then I taught online. And then last year, I went to India and I did an in-person teacher training at 300 hours. So now I had like my 500 hours. And this teacher training had 50 other students. And it was incredible. Like, it was such a supportive community and such a good experience. That was when I felt like, oh, I'm missing out on sharing in person with others, like the collective meeting other people like from that same place. And there was people that were amazing. There was people that I didn't, feel so comfortable with. And then I found out it's okay. Ultimately, everything is okay. And after India was when I felt like, now I can do it. And I just started going to classes. And when I moved here, 6 months after India, I just Googled Dharma Yoga, because I find that my favorite people are in the Dharma world. Mm-hmm. So I went to a Dharma Yoga studio, and from the beginning it was so easy. It was like when you fall into the path of the easy yes, like yes, yes, yes. There's no resistance, none at all. And that's how it's felt since I'm here. And I've just been going to all the classes and started to teach. And at first I was very nervous. But then, I missed a part. in Spain, my first teaching in person outside of friends, I started volunteering at a single mom's place. Yeah. So my mom was a single mom that didn't have time for herself, right? So I wanted to offer that to other single moms, and there was an association. So I started teaching in person. That was the first, I think, because it was free. I didn't feel like I had to be anything other than whatever I was. And I felt like I knew what a single mom that works all the time needs. So two colleagues would take care of their kids, and I would offer them the space for like spiritual practice or even like just be there. Some of them were like, I'm just sit there, just have this space for you. And that was my first experience teaching yoga in person, like to groups. And I did that a lot. So that was like how it built me up to teaching in person here. Then I was like, I don't know. And I found like my voice and I found my presence, and I find that I'm a very honest person, and that's all I have to be. Like I just, even when I'm teaching, if it's honest, then it's good. And some people won't come back again, and that's okay. And some people will connect with that honesty and with the practice, and that's okay too. And it'll always change. But yeah, that's more or less the story of my journey with yoga and in teaching. And there's a lot more to it. Like I could talk hours about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Of course. Yeah. I'm really an open book.
Yeah. What I think I heard was from the trauma you experienced, not feeling safe in your own body or safe in the world, others, to learning to be safe with yourself, to be safe in your own body. And then thankfully with your partner's encouragement to reach out and find other people who are maybe going through something similar but different in their own way, and then finding that sense of connection, being resistant, avoiding that connection, to then
100%.
eventually seeking out that connection and then realizing that, what have I been doing?
Yeah. And it's a practice of recognizing when you're acting from fear or when you're acting from an honest, true, loving place. And I thought, I love this practice so much, that's why I'm keeping it to myself and I want to be alone in it. But really it was from an action from fear, right? And now I'm leaning so much to just take me, like wherever you're taking me, I'm going, because I have trust so much. And India was like, that's where it was like flipping a switch, or like that change happened there big time. Could have happened anywhere else, that part.
Right.
But that's how it happened.
Yeah. What do you remember about that space between being afraid and feeling safe in your own body?
It's been like, it's not like a moment, right? It's a constant practice. At first it was so difficult because I feel like in a way it's easier to just, I don't feel it. Like, what do you call it? Compartmentalizing things and just bring it in boxes and to the sides, and if I don't see it, I don't feel it, and you just keep going, and you're so strong and you're so resilient, you're going through all of these things and you just keep going, and then it crumbles. Like, you can't carry that weight forever and keep going. And well, some people can, and it's, I was gonna say admirable, but it's not, because the hard work is okay. I had a therapist. I've been with her for 2 years now. At first we were doing twice a week. Now we're doing once a week. And now she's taking a break. So let's see, I'm free falling now. But with her support, then also like my whole life becoming way more, like I was sustaining myself financially. There was not that fear. So there was outside sources to creating more of an outside safety that allowed for me to explore the safety inside, right? It's like, I think it does take some sort of safety outside and stability to have the time, the mental capacity, the resources to do the work of finding that peace inside. And it's, I think, consistent work and checking with yourself all the time. But it's like, I talk about, it's like mining. You're like, and it's dirty and it's dark and it's painful and you don't even know what time of the day it is, and all of a sudden, gold. Oh, and now you're like, oh, I have this experience now, or I understand something better now, and I find this realization, and then it becomes a little easier and a little easier and a little easier. And now there's like months go by and that I've been like in my body consistently and not, disassociating, and it still wants to happen. It's crazy, like how an old survival mechanism, it just comes back and you have to be like, oh, I'm doing it again. But like I said, the having an environment that's safe, and then the resources to be able to cultivate that safety inside, or find that safety inside that's there. The practice was a huge part of that, yoga. And then, much like you were speaking to, finding others where you feel safe around, and finding that it's there. We can find it. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
No, it's wonderful. Yeah, I heard you sharing how you felt safe with your therapist, you felt safe with your partner.
Yep.
And with the encouragement of those two people, and having also the financial resources then to be brave.
Yeah.
And be courageous to go out into the world and do something new.
Yeah.
To challenge those fears, to challenge those insecurities, and to find that sense of strength inside yourself.
Yeah. And there's like friendships too, like you do need to find this safety net, you call it. So it's harder. I feel like I was very attached to this identity of this strong person that's so mature for her age and does everything on her own, doesn't need anything or anybody. It's just, and it's not true. And then you're like having another panic attack, and then now I'm like, no, I need my partner, I need my friends, my pets, I need nature. I need, it's finding what are the things that make you feel safe and held. And maybe I don't need to go out and to a hike every day, but I know that it's there, and I know that if I need it, I have, the ability to find the time and space to go and lay in the sun and be like, okay, I'm safe. It's good. It's all good. And even just knowing that is there, and that I found that gives me that peace, allows you to wake up with a different sense of, it's okay. I know I have all these different resources, yoga being a huge, big one, but still not like, if I don't practice, I'm going to, it's going to be a bad day. Like, no, so it's been, like I was saying, like this mining job where I've been finding, oh, this is how I feel safe, this is how I feel. A lot of journaling too. If I had a good day, I would write down the things that I did that day, and then kind of finding common denominators of what was going on the days that I was feeling good. And good meaning safe in my body, not having a panic attack, not having like existential, like, why am I even alive thoughts, which was a big part for a while of the mental narrative. Like, what is the point? Where's the point? Where's the point? And then finding, okay, turns out every time I do this and this, I feel better. Every time I have a conversation with my friend Anne, I feel better. Every time I'm doing, go in the sun, I feel better. And so that you're not depending on anything, you have all of these resources, and then And the same for bad days, right? What happened? Oh, I didn't go outside all day. I didn't talk to anybody, or I didn't. And kind of creating my little recipes for a successful, peaceful day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing at the beginning. And yeah, you can create that sense of knowing where you wake up and all the things that are there. You don't even have to do them at some point, I think. Well, that's my experience.
Yeah. What's it been like for yoga helping or facilitating that sense of awareness? How do I feel? Or how do I know when I feel safe versus not? Or how do I know when I'm doing something that's helpful versus hurtful? Like, how has yoga helped cultivate that sense of being aware where you're at?
For myself, yeah. So, such a big word, right? Yoga. At first, it was this forceful practice. You have to be in your body. From your toenail to your drishti, what you're looking at, to the arm that you don't see, you have to be very aware of to be correct in the asana, right? You have to be very aware of where everything is in your body. And it seems like such a, like, oh, okay, but it really puts you in your body. You have to be aware of every part of your body, the ones you don't see, the ones you like, the ones you don't like, all of it. Just aware, and place them in a specific position. And you're gonna strengthen your body, you're gonna be flexible. But to me, it's that's the essence is of the asana. Is I'm putting you in a position as a teacher, or the teacher is putting you in a position in an asana, a situation that's bringing up feelings. Maybe I'm tired, maybe I'm shaking, maybe I'm frustrated. So that's the lesson right there. It's like, can you stay there and observe that? And if you're like, when are we getting out of this? That's the lesson right there. Why are you impatient? Where do you want to go? Where are you running away from? Go back here, your finger, your hand, look at your finger, look at, and so it's very powerful. It's so powerful. There's many ways to practice, and coming here I found there's so many ways to practice. I didn't even know people practiced in these ways. To me, and the way that it helped me be in my body it was so simple. Like, I just have to, okay. And if my hand can't reach, that's fine. Like, being okay with wherever I am in the asana, and then being aware of my body, watching how I'm reacting, and being like, okay, I'm tired. And then slowly being more gentle too, being like, oh, maybe I'm too tired. Maybe I can stop right now. And it gives this space where you can do all of that without like having to react to things. Like, you're responding, you're putting yourself in a position, and then you watch it and you can respond to what you feel. So it feels like a perfect container for all that process to happen, but you have to be willing to do that work. And you have to be okay sometimes with not knowing, or with doing things that feel uncomfortable, or to me it's perfect in the way that everything that like how it comes together through the body. And then you can go so deep if you want to, but just like specific movement and being aware of your body, it's the doorway, right, to all of these other things. So I don't think I knew I could articulate this when I started practicing, but I think it was doing that without even knowing. I think I also got lucky with the teachers that I bumped into in my journey. I think I was very lucky with the people that I've learned from. Yeah, because they have that approach. And I've seen, well, maybe I didn't stuck with others that maybe I did take maybe one class with. That may be true too. But I've seen other classes that are maybe ignoring the body and just the practice becoming like a tool to obtain a result or a specific strength, or just, it's a different way of practicing. I think the lesson is there anyway. If you're listening, it's there. It's there when you're getting on the bus, like it's there all the time. But the asana and the practice as we know it, or the hatha practice, definitely provided this for me.
Yeah. What I'm hearing is it taught you to be okay with not being okay. Mm-hmm. And it taught you to be okay with being uncomfortable in the body, and to be okay with uncomfortable feelings, mm-hmm. uncomfortable thoughts. Yeah. And to be willing to come back to this moment. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, using the body as the grounding technique, the antenna or the tool to ground the mind into the present through the asana. And where would you find the space between, like, using the breath to ground the mind into the body, into the present? Like, how do you see the power of the tool of breathing, of the breath work as well?
Yeah. In class, to me, the breath is, it's like if the vehicle is the asana, but the driver is the breath, right? Mm-hmm. And I always give it a sound in my head. Sometimes it's a mantra, like, so hum, I am that, I am that. So whatever I wish to become, whatever I don't want to be anymore, I'm all of it. And that's okay. Like, I'm as much patient as I am impatient, because in reality, I'm not patient or impatient. I experience patience and I experience impatience. But I am all of it, or I can be all of it, potentially. So in my brain, I go, so hum, and that's how it's grounding me. It's repeating in my head, you are that, you are that, you are that. In class, I usually teach here, now. So inhale here, exhale now, in your brain, here, now, and it's that alone, it's so hard. Like, to, it's not true that through my whole practice I'm only thinking here now, here now, but I'm bringing it back to here now, here now. I'm catching myself and bringing it back, catching myself and bringing it back. And then when you're settled in an asana, you can use that grounding. It's like, I'm just here now, I'm just here now, I'm here now. And that can, it's so powerful. You can take it outside of the class, and then I'm looking at you and I'm talking to you and I'm like, I'm here now with him. And it's a great experience, and it's all of it. So, and maybe, oh, I don't know, my heel hurts or whatever, I'm thirsty, but everything is okay. It's that awareness. And the breath, for me, it's that whisper or that voice of here now. Of course, it has all the scientific sides of the nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, and how it can, you can use it in different ways to change that state. But essentially, like the essence is of presence, of grounding, is here now. That's it. And we know that. Like, it's hard. It's so hard. Yeah. And I think I found so much by being present, by being open, that I was missing out by being avoidant or closed off. The type of person like, I don't like you, you'll have to prove to me that you're worthy of my liking. To now I'm like, I love you. And if you're in a different phase in your journey where you're maybe needing pain and hurt, then I'll walk away from you and let you continue on with your walk, you know. But I found that I gave myself the opportunity to find so much, because it's open, so that you can find things. So the practice of here now, of presence, of being in my body became easier. But it's work in progress. Some days I'm like, nope.
And what's it like on those days when it's like, nope, how to be okay with that?
Yeah, that's a big question. I think that's when all of those lists, all of that, sometimes none of it cuts it. Some days I'm crying all day, or for maybe half of the day. And even then, you have to allow the space for it. Maybe that's what you need. And I think, of course, for all of these, we're speaking from a place of like the privilege that you get to, you know, maybe be in a place where you can cry all day and it's okay. And a lot of people don't have this safety, or just, you know, when we're talking about what about a bad day, or actually being in a situation that is horrible. I can't, you know, I have a really hard time speaking about how you can also find that inner peace. It's true, but there's some things in the world that are extremely unfair, and people that are actually in really horrible situations where, I don't know, I always have a hard time speaking about like, oh, you just breathe and find, when there are situations that are actually really hard. And I want to just acknowledge that even though there's some truths that are universal, like even in war, you could technically take a deep breath, but you know, like, come on. So I want to acknowledge that there are situations of unsafety. It doesn't need to be war. It can be sexual abuse. It can be other things that are just unfair, and where it's going to be a lot harder. So if we are talking of just, you know, waking up with a bad day where just it's overwhelming, there's some breathing techniques that create physical movement, like the Brahmari breathing, where you can and create vibration inside. Those kinds of things that put you in the body, but in a very subtle way, where it's not overwhelming, like, because you don't want to be there. I practice Brahmari breath a lot. I find it very soothing. I practice tapping a lot. Like, I'll just, you know, like, okay, here and here, I can touch me. I can like soothe myself a little. But I genuinely say, just have the bad day. It's okay. Just, if you don't want to do anything and you really need to do nothing, maybe just do that and see what happens. And if you can remain aware, though, of what's going on inside, of why you're feeling the way you're feeling. It's a really hard question. Yeah, because I have now developed this, like, towards avoidance, doing anything like, oh, you're just avoiding the feeling, be in it. But I know that for some people, I know in my journey where I'm at, I can say that and I can do that. For a lot of people, it's just not possible right now, and that's okay too. But just be aware. And if it's a cycle, if something that's repeating itself, it's preventing you from exploring your full potential and who you can be and who you are underneath it all, then yeah, maybe let's try finding tools. Maybe go to a yoga class, maybe go out, maybe reach out to a friend, maybe try to break and be aware. And most of all, don't put it in others. Like, maybe that's like, see how someone was telling me, when you're having a really shitty day and like you're going towards that self, like everything is happening to me, and go volunteer for one day, see others' pain. Not that your pain is not worthy of your own, but it gives you perspective, and in turn you're doing something for someone else, and that's gonna make you feel better in itself, just a service. So I don't know, I liked when I heard that. I was like, oh, I like that because it's true. If you can turn your pain into, like, I can't deal with myself, it's too much what I'm going through, but I can do something for someone else, and you're going to find then, oh, I can help others. Boom, value. I have value. I am worthy. And then that can give you maybe a little push. Yeah. Sorry, I ramble a lot.
Oh, it was wonderful. Because what I heard is you've transformed your suffering into loving power. And you transform your pain and suffering into service.
Yes, I try. That's, yeah, you hear well. Yeah, that's the, yeah. You couldn't have said it better. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the practice. However people get, it's progress, not perfection, and really it's a process, an everyday process. And being okay with not being okay, and noticing, okay, is what I'm doing helping me or hurting me? Is it serving me or not serving me?
Yeah.
And then what can I do different? And that's what I heard you share is you noticed, you were journaling, what am I doing that's helping me? Okay, what am I doing that's hurting me? And doing something different.
Yeah. My partner said that a lot of his process was letting go of this idea of who I was when we met, and embracing that I'm a completely different person now. And he met someone that was depressive and anxious all the time, and quite like depending on his support and this. Now I'm in a place where I can give to others, so I'm not, of course I need spaces to recharge and all that, but now he's like, whoa, now you don't need me. Like, now it's not like you need me, where it felt at the beginning, this need. And it's that transformation. You start doing things differently. And the incredible thing is when you realize that you can be all the things you never thought you could be, then you start seeing other people differently. It's like, I look at you and I know that you are all of it too. Because if I am all of it, then you are all of it. And then he's all, and then you start seeing people differently. And so my asana practice is quite, I don't like the word advanced, but I can do a lot of things, right? A lot of asanas. There's some that are very challenging still, but a lot of people are attracted to my practice because I can do things that are or look impossible and for them, right? And that may be true, that doesn't matter. But when I started practicing yoga, my body was stiff, my body was not very strong. Like, I didn't find, because I wasn't feeling strong, I wasn't feeling flexible. I was feeling very stuck in how I was doing things. And the physical practice, you just keep showing up and keep showing up and keep showing up, and things start to happen. And the reason why we have these asanas that are option to stay here or do this other thing or do this other thing or do this other thing, the idea is never to achieve something or be, the idea is always to walk towards this boundless and limitless state of being, where you're not attached to, this is what I'm capable of doing and this is what I'm not capable of doing, this is who I am and this is who I'm not. This is, it's limitless, and it's a choice, and some things are going to be way harder to change and some things are going to be easier, but it's not stuck, it's endless. And that's what the practice gave me, was feeling like, whoa, I really can change things that have been the same for 30 years. today I can choose to change it. That was maybe one of the biggest lessons through the practice, that power of you have a choice and you can change things. You really can.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you said, keep showing up.
Oh yeah.
And we'll notice the change. It will naturally change. And to not expect a change or anticipate the outcome of change, but be in that process to change. And the process is showing up.
Yeah. What you have to do is show up.
Yes.
And I like how you said that. And it's definitely not a destination, and life isn't either. So it's a good mirror, yoga. And I use mirrors a lot when I'm speaking of when you're in relationships or when you are in your practice. It's a constant mirror. What you're seeing, it's a reflection. It's not the other person. It's how you perceive based on who you are and your experiences. And it's a constant, like, there's no destination. Once you put your feet on your forehead, no one claps, nothing happens. And if you can never do it, there's no end goal. If you become attached to, I want to be able to do this asana in this way, then you're going to miss finding the value that you have just because you exist. And so in itself, like that in itself, the lesson is there. If you listen and you learn that, whoa, I'm becoming attached to this result of this posture, looking a certain way, that's my problem. I become attached to the idea of something being in a way that's never going to, there's the lesson, like, and then boom. You can keep showing up for years and never hear that lesson and just be stuck. And you're probably the same way outside. So it's the showing up and watching. I like to speak to watch what's happening. Don't get stuck with what's not happening, because it's way harder to find the lesson when you're thinking too much of what's not going on, or looking at someone else and thinking. If you're looking to someone else and thinking, oh, the lesson is there too, like, it's exciting because it's available. Like, it's a situation that makes the lessons available to you easily, right? But if you're listening and you're aware, willing to do that work, you could come for years and not hear the lesson, and it's like right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
And like you're saying, and just want to reflect back the noticing where my mind is. Is my mind going outside of myself, or is my mind going within myself? And it's not about how deep I can go into the posture, but how deep can I go into myself?
Yep.
And that's the point that can be missed, is how deep can I go? Can I do this? Can I achieve this? Rather than what's the process of noticing my body where I am right now.
Yeah, like you said it perfectly.
I was just paraphrasing.
Yeah. But it's interesting, like, sometimes you're watching students and it's their journey, but maybe, the outside, you're literally looking from, like, watching, right? Where they need to take this observer seat, not outside of your body, it's just deeper inside of the body, because that can also put you outside of your body if you're, like, watching yourself from too far. It's like beyond, it's peeling layers, it's going deeper. But from the outside, sometimes it's so easy. You're like, what's going on? You're frustrated. Why are you frustrated? And how is life outside of the mat? And how do you experience this frustration? And is it a cycle that's repeating itself? The class is a safe container for those things to come up and safely look at them. Because in asana, you just stop moving your body. However, at work, or with a friend, or with just your life where everything is going on at the same time, it's much harder to be like, oh, I stop and I watch. Then I think with the practice, I noticed, or for me, it became easier to, even when I'm talking to you, like, noticing and watching, like, whoa, I'm getting wrapped up in that, or I'm getting pulled to this cycle, or to. And in class, you have an opportunity to, it's only the asana. You only have to worry about your breath, your drishti, how your body is positioned, and then you can stay there and do that process, right? And it's all right there in front of you.
Yeah.
But it's, And it's constant, it's all the time. Like once you start taking it outside of the mat and into your life, and then it becomes like, yeah, this constant practice. And then that's like when it turns into like a yogic way of being in the world, of existing in the world, and constantly checking with yourself. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I love, that it's because taking those tools and skills off the mat into everyday life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how do I check in with myself? How am I feeling right now? Can I take a step back? Can I
Yeah.
notice? Can I just observe without judgment and
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
see where I am?
It's so tough.
Yeah. What would you recommend to somebody who wants to try yoga but they're scared, or they're, sort of like you were in the beginning of your practice?
Yeah.
What would you recommend to somebody who's going through that right now?
I would say practicing online at home was incredible for me. It had a lot of value, and that's available everywhere. I strongly believe that it comes to you how you need it, and to just like, not even, there won't be the right video to try, just try it out. And if you can just allow yourself an opportunity to try it out, and if you know someone, like reach out to people, Google Dharma Yoga. Or, so Dharma is a teacher from New York, and his class, all of the teachers that he teaches are such good practitioners in the sense that they practice from this place, but also the classes are kind of playful. They're very, it's a loving environment. So Dharma Yoga is always a good way to go. The class might be intimidating, but because they offer a lot of variations that at first you're going to be like, whoa, I can't do that. But it's okay. It's okay. If you hear this interview, then know that it's okay, that it's not about that. Maybe know that it's not about what you can and cannot do. If you can go walk into the class knowing that it's not about that, that's watching others do incredible things that you think are impossible for you, let them be inspiring. If you're a beginner and you're in class, let seeing other people do things that you're like, whoa, I can never do that. Don't let it stop you, let it inspire you, because they were in the same place at the beginning. And to me, now when I see others doing things that maybe I want to be able to do, it's not because I want to do, I just want to kind of unlock that lesson, right? And like, I want to face that asana because I want to unlock that lesson. And others are inspiring. And then you will find the community if you can find that. Yeah. And maybe go with someone you love. Let them wait for you outside. And then you go outside. And if you have to leave mid-class, you can leave mid-class. You can leave whenever you want. You can stop whenever you want. It's not... There's certain classes that here I found that do have more rules. Like you can't leave, or you still can leave. And if a class that you go to doesn't work for you, it feels like, I hate yoga. You go like, I went to yoga and I hated yoga. There's so many different styles, teachers. If you feel cold, don't let a bad class stop you. Keep going.
Wonderful advice.
Yeah, I think I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, oh, I know actually, because I was a beginner for a long time. And like, I didn't go to class for a long time. And something I like about teaching a lot is that I'm constantly faced with different people and how it makes them feel, and I keep learning from them, and then I can use that also. Yeah.
What would you recommend for someone, they've been doing yoga for a while, maybe they've gotten a little deeper. What about someone who's maybe seasoned in their yoga practice and they want to go a little deeper? What would you recommend?
Read the Yoga Sutras just read them, meditate on them. If your physical practice seems to have become stagnant, try new teachers maybe. But read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Observe where you're looking at when you're practicing. The drishti, right? The practice of keeping a steady drishti. And so, like, notice your thought. Like, I've practiced for a long time, and I'm so far, like, it's so far from being really like a constant state, a constant meditative state. So if you think, you're stuck or just like, I've, what's it called, like, I finished the game or something. What's your drishti? What's your thought? Read the sutras and meditate on them. And also try new teachers, because people get into this, there's that attachment, right? This is my teacher, and who not leave your teacher, because there's something very beautiful about lineages and having this relationship with the teacher and what can happen, but also try out new things. And I speak to this a lot in class. Practice with curiosity.
Yes.
You've always done, you've done warrior 100 times. Try getting your feet a little wider apart. And now you can bend your knee a little more. If you're done downward dog a million times, change slightly the distance between your feet and your hands. Bring your chest a little closer to your thigh. Like, just be curious. It's like every class or every time I practice, I put myself in the feet of a child or a baby even that's seeing things for the first time. Because that also informs how I behave outside of the practice. Outside of the practice, I could be like, oh, I had this meeting a million times, or I've hung out with, been in traffic a million times. Step into curiosity, watch what's around you. There's always something new. There's always, like, there's that oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like a bird or whatever. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's just like you have your feet a little closer to your hands and all of a sudden your shoulders open a lot and you're like, whoa, because I remain curious. I didn't go into that judgment of, I already know how that's going to go. Yeah, meditate on curiosity, maybe. Just think about curiosity. Curiosity is one of my favorite qualities to cultivate. Yeah.
Agreed.
Remain curious. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that helps.
No, that's great advice. No, I agree. It's
Thank you.
wonderful. Yeah. Remaining curious. Rather than judging oneself too positively
Yeah.
or judging others negatively and putting one above them in
Yeah,
comparison. And so, yeah, remaining
that
curious.
happens so much.
Yes.
And curious.
Curious.
We don't even know what that means sometimes. I say that to people and it's like, just think about it.
Yeah.
Like a baby. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, a hand. Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than thinking I know a thing, even when I think I do,
Mm-hmm.
can I remain curious about it, knowing it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that made me think of.
Yeah.
And yeah, where can people find you online or
Mm-hmm.
or get to know you more, or follow you, or take your classes? Or...
So I'm in Carlsbad mostly right now. I teach in Yoga on State and I teach in Carlsbad Yoga Village. I am Marta Estelles. My Instagram handle is Hatha. And that's all I'm doing, like, for social media right now. Come to class. It's so fun. It's so challenging, but it's so fun. And yeah, that's how I met you. So
Yeah. And
cool things happen.
I'm so grateful, and I felt your energy, and I felt that you
Thank
did
you.
the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing the work all the time. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah,
Every
every day. Yeah, and like for me, it's important for people. You could take do 10 minutes of your asana. Like, really try to take it out of your mat. Let the practice just inform how you are outside. So like if you're cooking, smell your food. Like when you're chewing, just taste it and be like, whoa, this I love this flavor, it's making me feel so good. Or I don't like this. Just be in that state, because it really changes your life when you're talking to someone and you're like hearing their voice and the qualities of their voice, if it's soft, if it's harsh, and what that means, and how they're sitting, how they're looking at you. If you're in traffic, like, just be in it in a different way, and take it outside of the mat. Don't. As a teacher, I've become a little like, I've watched myself becoming frustrated because the class ends, we're sitting in the benches, putting on our shoes, and I'm taking my phone, and it's like a different world. But it's the same world. Like, there's conversations that happen, and I watch myself observing them and like going into the judgments, like, they're not practicing yoga now. Like, and I watch myself, and I have to check myself back into like their journey. It's okay, and my way is not like the right way. But the moment you step out of the class, keep the deep breath and see if you can stay in that place. When you're making decisions, when you are talking to people, when you are looking at yourself in the mirror, see if you can bring it with you, because to me that's where the power of the practice is, way beyond the mat. And it's a revealing practice. It's like peeling layers and finding things, and then cultivate that and also pass it on, we can create a ripple effect. I think when we take that practice outside, we can really make an impact in how people behave with other humans and animals and plants and the world in general. Decisions, like how we consume, it can really change things, I think. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having the space and the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I look
appreciate
forward
that.
to doing more classes with you and continuing the conversations.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful. This is fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.